Welcome to Pause Button with Storytime Gamer and Bob.
A weekly podcast covering gaming news, reviews, and all things geek.
I'm your host, Storytime Gamer, also known as Eric, and I stream a variety of games on my YouTube channel on StorytimeGamer.com with a focus of story-driven games, role-playing, and horror games. I also love anything from the 80s and 90s pop culture.
And I'm Bob, bringing you games you can chill to. Survival crafting, factory management, and open world RPGs. Anything you can play while listening to a podcast, an audiobook, or watching Netflix.
Send us your thoughts, ideas, and reactions to emails at pausebuttongaming.com. If you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, so you'll always have the latest episode for when you need to step back from life and press pause.
All right, let's get to the show. We thought it was kind of a slow news week at first, but then we ended up with a lot of articles to check out here. So
yeah, well, let's
get into it.
Yeah, definitely not. It's news that's not necessarily like here's a new game, but it's more of like here's stuff that's happening. And I think, but even then, we can all feel this this drought coming on us. Don't you think so?
It's the summer doldrums. Yeah, we played all the cool new stuff that's out.
Yeah,
we're waiting for the next stuff to come out.
Well, the first thing that I think was the craziest thing that happened, because there's three layers to this thing, and that's why I'm going to bring up. There's actually two articles I want to relate it to, but IGN showed the first bits of Gotham Knights with Batgirl.
Saw that.
It's like 16 minutes worth. Yeah, I watched it. Got the Witcher vibes from it. A little bit of the Arkham games, but I don't know. I'm a little bit more interested in it, but I'm still not sold. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I want this game to be good, but I watched the Batgirl part, and it felt so bland.
Yeah, and that's how I felt about it too. When it first started, like there's like the four characters talking. And I was like, this is awkward. I'm like, oh, you can switch between them to like pick your character, I guess, as like it's supposed to be a little bit more interactive intro to the mission. But it felt kind of blocky is the first thing that comes to me. Very rigid with the way it's set up. If that makes any sense. Like, okay, or maybe a lot of hand holding. I know it's a first level, but it's like, okay, let's do this. Okay. Now let's go and investigate and let's do this and let's do that. And I'm like, okay, can we just not have a little prompt show up or maybe a flashback to whoever the newest recruit is, like Damian Wayne?
It made me feel like it was like the CW version of a game. Everything was very clean, very bright, and the combat just felt like it felt early. Like, make me feel a little bit. When they had the Batman game, the Mad Max game, and you punch somebody, there was this chunky like, boom, and I don't know, like it made me feel like it was a kid's game, or it actually felt like a free to play game.
Yeah.
I don't know why, just kind of low quality. But I don't know. Maybe that's what they're going for.
Yeah, as I like to say, it's a wholly big bag of meh Batman.
We don't know these characters. Maybe that's part of it too. I have no history with any of them. I don't know their story. So they're not inherently interesting to me.
Gotcha. I do, and I've always liked them as side characters. So it's like, they're here to fill in the boots of the Bat, which is great. But the gameplay I've seen thus far, like there's this weird jumping mechanic. I don't know if you've seen it, but they were showing like Red Hood and all the other characters have like some sort of weird double jump thing. And it was just awkward.
I've heard about this.
It took it from being really grounded, which is what was great about the Arkham games. Other than that, there's supervillains. It just made it less grounded, which I didn't really like. But with this, it just, I don't know. And the good news is, Rocksteady, who made made all the Arkham games, they're working on the Suicide Squad game. So I'm looking forward to that more than this. This is just Warner Brothers holding on to that property name, trying to make some money out of it. But I don't think this is the first time that Batgirl's in trouble this week. You know why?
Right. I heard.
Excuse me.
I did hear that.
So this ties in, I think, because it's part of the whole. If you like Gotham Knights or Batgirl, the Batgirl movie has been killed. It is dead before release, like $70 million gone. No talk about it being released for HBO Max or theaters. It was supposed to go to both at the same time, I think. And from what I'm understanding is that it wasn't, as the studio says, it wasn't blockbuster material. So I don't know if that means they were shooting it with a low budget in mind or what, or they just
there's plenty of stuff on streaming that's not blockbuster material.
No, and it still gets put out there. What maybe it is, and you announce it as we're canning it, then people are going to want to see it more. So maybe this is like a big reaction, and then they're going to knee jerk back saying, "Okay, we'll put on HBO Max eventually," just like with the Snyder Cut. Was
Michael Keaton and J.K. Simmons in it?
Yeah,
Brendan Fraser was in it.
Yeah, wait, who was Brendan Fraser in it? Was he playing as
the villainous Firefly?
Yeah, see, that's the thing I don't understand is, and maybe because he's already in Doom Patrol, which is a DC property, and then they're going to put him in another movie as another character, which, I mean, Firefly would be cool. I don't know. Maybe it felt hooky. Maybe they were like, wait, this looks too much like Batman and Robin with the old 60s Batman flair to it. I don't know. And they're like, this is not right. So who knows?
Yeah, I'm looking for a reason that their statement says the decision to not release Batgirl reflects our leadership's strategic shift as it relates to the DC universe and HBO Max. That is the most non-statement statement. Like,
yeah, it's because
they went out of the way to say it was not about Leslie Grace and her performance.
Well, what it is
I don't know.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's too bad. I mean, people want this, I think.
Oh, yeah. No, I was looking forward to it. I'm like, good. She deserves it. She's got quite a history in the comics and in the games, in the cartoon series, in the cartoon movies. There is a whole series there. I mean, there's everything. It's Batgirl. She deserves some spotlight. But it's funny how...
And we're in this era... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's funny how DC, unlike Marvel, it's you always have to kind of compare them from superhero franchises. DC just doesn't have their ducks in a row.
True. But they, I don't know. I mean, Marvel is certainly going for a, you're not going to like this statement, but a quantity over quality thing right now. Well, and Star Wars too. It's just like there's so much. Well, okay, they're milking it for all it's worth. I don't know why DC doesn't do the same thing. With there's a whole thing on female empowerment going on and strong female characters right now.
Yeah.
That just seems like the right time for a really good Batgirl story.
Agreed.
And bringing back Michael Keaton?
Yeah.
What a great idea.
I know. And then that what would be great is if they had Jack Nicholson as Joker. Even though I kind of want to say, okay, if you want to do old Batman, get Kevin Conroy and then Mark Hamill in like live action.
Do like a Spider-Man thing, bring them all back at the same time.
Yeah, I mean they could do that with the Flash movie because even that's in trouble with Ezra Miller being cuckoo gaga. And there was one more thing.
Have you ever? Well, sure. One more thing.
I was going to say there's one more thing that ties in with Batgirl and Gotham Knights is that there was a CW show that was going to come out called Gotham Knights, and now that's been canned as well. So it's like they're deleting everything they can do with Batgirl. Here's a weird conspiracy theory. Say, I don't know how it happened, but say if Batgirl was created by some creator or designer and then they lost the rights to it.
Mm-hmm.
Or like say a video game company got the rights to it and like Warner Brothers doesn't have it. I don't know. I don't think that's the case. That'd be really weird, but that's how Spider-Man happened. Anyway, that's all I have to say about Batgirl and Gotham and her woes and perils.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Oh, yeah. I've seen that movie many times.
Would you permit me just a brief rant about double jumps?
Oh, sure.
Double jumps in video games are an interesting mechanic because it's impossible to do a double jump in real life unless you have like rocket boots. Mm-hmm. Like Star-Lord could theoretically do a double jump. I don't know why he would. He could just fly, but they're impossible. So when they put double jumps in Gotham Knights, it feels lazy. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, we need them to have more vertical mobility, and it's a lot of work to do like a grappling mechanic. So let's just make it to where you press the jump button again and they jump again. And it's like, well, are they magical characters now?
Right. Yeah, no.
Then this is a video game. Fine.
Yeah, okay. And I think that's what my beef is it's less of the grittiness. It's more cartoony, arcadey.
I don't like double jumps in games. Like I played Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and it has a double jump upgrade, which is nice in the game because it's a platformer. But I don't know. You're jumping in the air.
Jedi Fallen Order has it. Double jump. I mean, it's a force jump.
That's right.
But it's
He's
necessary.
Got the force. Yeah. He is magic.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Wizards. Midichlorians are doing the jumping.
That's right. It's science. It's science-based.
Yep. And that's all I have to say about.
What else you got?
What else you got? We got apparently the next Pokemon. Like if you get Violet or I think it's Scarlet, is what it is. Scarlet and Violet. You get a motorcycle Pokemon. That is the Pokemon. So depending on which one you get the red Pokemon motorcycle, or you get the purple motorcycle Pokemon to traverse the open world of Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. That comes out this November, which is weird. Don't know how that's going to be explained. Maybe the Pokemon people are running out of ideas to designing.
Are you a Pokemon player?
My girlfriend is. And I've been a fan of the series since it came out. I grew up with it. Never really played the games, but I loved it in Smash Brothers. The cartoons are fun. So it's not like, OMG, she's a bigger fan than I am, but I'm also a big fan of it.
What does she think about this?
Video game, anime, all combined together.
What does she think about this motorcycle Pokemon?
She says it's kind of meh. Business. I mean, she's still going to play it and enjoy it, but it's just weird. And I agree with her. Because it's just, why have a Pokemon that transforms? Are we going to get into Beast Wars now? Transformers that turn into animals?
So you can ride it around.
They can. But you can just get a little golf cart or something, or a real motorcycle. You don't need a Pokemon to do that. Do you have to ask the Pokemon if it wants it to happen?
What's this Scott Pilgrim story?
Okay, so there's this game that got teased. It's called Thirsty Suitors. And it's developed by Annapurna. Yeah. So that's the developer. They announced it. So it's like this kick-ass Scott Pilgrim-esque skateboarding RPG. This is from Kotaku. And it's the same premise where you're a female. It looks like, from India. And you are being pursued by like all these exes or suitors, and you have to fight them in a very RPG turn-based combat system. And it looks pretty cool. I'm going to play it because it looks like fun. And I'm also a big fan of Scott Pilgrim. So if we can get something, the Scott Pilgrim game that did come out was like a, side-scroller brawler, but this makes more sense to be RPG. So I'm excited. And if you get a chance, check out the video. It visually looks cool. And I think it'll be a fun little story.
Yeah, I heard about this game. And so when I heard Thirsty Suitors, it made me think of something like Boyfriend Dungeon. Like these, I was going to say weird. And I shouldn't say that because they're not for me, but there's like romance games where you can romance people and stuff. And I have absolutely zero interest in anything like that. But now that I see that this is more like a Scott Pilgrim thing, that sounds pretty cool. I will check out the video.
Yeah, there's a whole genre of it. There's actually one coming out. I guess it could be another news article. I don't have the link to it to send and share. But it's the Dead by Daylight monsters are in a dating sim now, where you could try to win the hearts and the love of the monsters.
Weird. Weird. I mean, here I'm saying weird. I shouldn't say weird if that's your thing.
Right.
More power to you.
Yeah, no, it's a whole thing, especially on Steam, and then I guess on the Switch.
I play games where I sit and do repetitive tasks over and over and over again for hours. So who am I to say something like that's weird?
All right. So what did you have? It looks like you have some more news on Diablo.
Got a couple things that caught my attention. I love kind of making fun of this Diablo Immortal situation with the microtransactions because, we talked, I think last week about how People think it's gross. People don't like it, and yet lots of people are spending money. This YouTuber has spent over $100,000 upgrading his character in Diablo. Like immediately when he started playing, he started pouring money into it, and he was talking about how he became so overpowered, he was destroying everybody. And apparently in Diablo Immortal, you can take over these certain like realms or worlds or servers or something, and you can become like the immortal of that server. But then you have to get in PvP matches to defend it. And because he cannot get paired with anybody because he's so powerful, he literally can't finish the game. There's things he can't do, and he'll probably lose his status as immortal by default because you have to fight to defend it. And I think he said he waited 2 or 3 days and couldn't get a match. I mean, he said Diablo's Blizzard's working on a fix for it, but
of course they are.
It's just ridiculous.
No,
it's ridiculous.
100,000. How long has this game been out? More than a month now. Is that it?
Yeah.
So
about that, maybe 2.
So he spent more than a person. He said 100,000. That's more than most people's yearly salary. So either he has a huge bunch of savings he just blasted it on, or a lot of credit card debt, or maybe both. Who knows? But that is life choices.
He may be a big time YouTube streamer, and that's not a big deal for him.
True. That could be that. And then, of course, if it is for his YouTube stream, then he can write it off as a loss or whatever he needs to do. Tax code. But yeah, no, that's quite a bunch of money. But also, it brings out that whole point of those stupid transactions of pay to win. We've talked about that many times. So
I also like poking fun at the NFT market. However, I did dig a little bit into that this week, and I played an NFT game, which we'll talk about here in just a second.
Yes.
But this is a story about on GameStop's NFT marketplace. Apparently, you can put games up there that people can play in the marketplace, and I don't know how the NFTs come into play there. Like, do you own the game or something? I don't know. But this guy was taking free games, like web browser based games, and selling them as his own. And those developers, they had various use licenses, but all their licenses prohibited commercial use. And he's out there reselling them on GameStop's market for NFTs. He made, I don't know, tens of thousands of dollars on these things.
Yeah, people have to watch out. And that's kind of, I guess, the use case in an NFT is about originality. Because, how many times have you shared that one meme with like the girl smiling and the house on fire? Looking at the camera.
Right, but it also shows how difficult it is to enforce. I mean,
it is.
You can buy all this NFT art, but you can't stop someone from screenshotting it.
True. True.
You can prove that you're the owner.
Right, and I think that's what it comes down to. Because I can get myself a Bored Ape and put it as my icon for anything, anywhere, and just assume people will know it. But if they can't, if someone calls me out, oh, you didn't verify this, then I could be in some sort of trouble or deplatformed from wherever I'm at. So I don't know. It's definitely a muddy water, but that's quite interesting.
I went out there and poked around on GameStop's NFT marketplace, and we'll talk about the game that I got into. Yes. But there's plenty of art that you can buy, and I don't know. There's one artist, and he's got a picture. It's like a cartoon of a woman, and she has different colored backgrounds. And like the blue background is like $16,000, and the purple background is only $1,000. I mean, I'm at a loss as to who wants to put money like that into a graphic. I mean, people buy art, so
right.
But wow, but they buy. I mean, I have bought art. I have commissioned a piece of art that I had a local painter paint for me as a gift. But that is a physical thing that she created that exists. For her to make another one, for there to be another one, she would have to sit down and paint it. It is a literal painting. Yeah. And if someone's got a graphic and you're buying the graphic, I don't know, man. I guess I'm old. I don't get it.
No, I hear you. It's the whole where does it stop? What is considered art? You're buying it for that sake, and then you have the uniqueness, and then
has the value people assign to it.
Exactly.
Sure.
So it just because it is, I would like to say, simple to create. It's going to be just like with any other content out there. It's just going to be a lot of stuff and a lot of luck to see what comes out of it. Or, hey, this is a really good artist, and then they'll go up in the world. We'll see. Yeah. Crazy.
Speaking of value people assign to things, I read an article, I think this was on Kotaku, no, it was Gizmodo, about Game Pass versus the new PS Plus. And they kind of dove deep into it. And the reason I thought this was interesting is I had the same bias in my head that the writer did, which is, what's there to compare? Game Pass is clearly superior.
Yes.
And when you read through the article and you actually compare, they actually scored the PS Plus offering higher in a couple of different ways. There's more games available in some cases. The pricing is better in some cases. Mm-hmm. Microsoft has their AAA titles on there, but they don't actually have any out right now. So, yeah, I thought it was interesting. It made me think maybe I should take another look at PS Plus sometime.
I would say that Game Pass is superior because it has the backlog of older games compared to what PlayStation has. There's a lot more of those, like, well, here's the original Gears of War you can get compared, on 360 or something from Xbox, Max Payne 2, or even, well, not necessarily Game Pass, but just their store in general. But yeah, the Game Pass has a lot more like indie developers too, I think.
Yeah.
And then PlayStation Plus does have a lot of newer games.
Yeah, a lot of old stuff.
So yeah, I think they're going to figure it out. But yeah, I hear you. Interesting.
And then we'll end on this fun one. Weird Al has a music video called Scarif Beach Party.
Ooh.
And my link isn't working.
Is that for the Star Wars, Lego Star Wars, like
Lego
summer short that's on Disney Plus?
Yeah,
I have to check it out.
It's, of course, because I love Weird Al, and the Lego stuff is so funny. It's really good.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it.
It's funny because it's got little, like, all the Star Wars characters are in Lego form, and they're all partying. So you've got like Emperor Palpatine out on the beach, hanging out with Darth Vader, and it's fun. I love Weird Al.
Oh yeah,
I love the humor that they put into the Lego universe. The writers are just fantastic.
Yeah, speaking of Weird Al, I'm excited about the Daniel Radcliffe movie he's doing as a young Weird Al.
Yeah. When's that coming out?
I thought this fall, or maybe it's like early next year. I forget. Haven't seen a real trailer. They just had the teaser for it. But yeah, anyway, I just had to throw that out there. All right. Well, and that's it for the news. So what are we playing? I've been playing at nothing new because we're in a drought. Well, actually, nothing. It was new for me. I was playing, continuing Inscription, which is that card battler game, which has got some RPG elements. Well, it took a turn from what I thought the game was. I thought I beat it.
Oh, I keep hearing about this turn.
I don't want to say much more than that, but it became a whole other thing. It was like, whoa. It was like not necessarily a whole other learning curve, but it took another turn to build on what you did, and it felt refreshing and great, and it made me want to play more. And then I found another turn after that. So I don't know when it ends.
Out on PlayStation?
This month it comes out, as of recording, August of 2022. It comes out at the end of the month.
Yeah,
on PlayStation. I've been playing it on my Mac.
I want to get a Steam Deck and play this.
Mm-hmm. It's worth it. Yeah, I'm considering buying it again so I can play it on the PlayStation. And
have you seen the Inscription website? They have a fake Microsoft 95, Windows 95 desktop with a start button. I just sent you the link.
Okay.
It's got a little Steam. It's really cool.
Well, that would make sense because hold on. Yeah, I want to take there. Yeah. First, the link was good. Oh yeah, that kind of works into with what's going on in the story. And I don't want to say any more. It's one of those things like, if you're a gamer, you like cool little twists, and you like Card Battler, definitely play this. It's an experience, and it's something that will have replay value, I think.
I'm gonna wait until I get my Steam Deck, and then I'm gonna play it.
All right, and then I will definitely want to know your notes on it. And then also I've been playing Fallout 4 again because I was playing Fallout Shelter and I was like, man, I need to play Fallout 4 again.
Oh, it's so good.
It is good. It is fun nostalgia. I'm trying to do a couple things differently. So I'm not repeating the same, like, I feel like I'm doing the same path on missions. I considered for 2 seconds to kill every person I could in the Brotherhood of Steel as soon as I got the airship to come in, just so I can take all their power armor. But that proved, do quick save and then start seeing how far I can get with killing. It didn't end well. But no, it's fun. The main story, I think, pales in comparison to a lot of other stuff. I like Fallout 3, I think, still a little bit more. The graphics are gorgeous on 4, but 3, I feel like, is a bit more solid.
Something hit on 3 just the right way.
Yeah.
It was a little watered down on 4.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they spent too much development resources on the building mechanic, which really didn't add that much to the game.
No, it's annoying because I got stuck, 20 minutes trying to get a stupid radio tower powered up on the Minuteman mission when you take the castle, and it's like I have it connected, but I didn't connect it to the right component for the power. I'm like, oh my god, and it doesn't. There's nothing in there. Thing. Yeah, it's annoying.
That thing pulled me in because I love the building mechanic. I mean, I love a building mechanic in a game. It's just that one was kind of tacked on. There's not a whole lot of reason to do it.
No, there
so I'm
isn't.
like spending all this time on it, and then has nothing to do really with the game.
No, and I was playing because I'm like, okay, maybe this will get me in the mood to feel better about Starfield from what I've seen. But I like the gunplay a lot in this, and then from what I've seen, this Starfield trailer, it still doesn't feel right watching it. Because nothing's as good as double barrel shotgun, and then having the visceral explosion of people or their limbs falling off, because that's why you get the shotgun, to get that experience.
I always play Fallout games as sneaky stealth. I use VATS on every single encounter. I like to kill without ever being seen.
Right. Well, see, and that was the interesting thing. VATS, I used it all the time in 3, but in 4, it doesn't seem to be as good. I don't know if it's just a mechanic or they make you upgrade it more to work better, but it just doesn't always seem to work out in my favor, or it feels better to actually just shoot. So
talking about it makes me want to play Fallout 3.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I just had to get out of my system, so that's what I've been doing.
That game reminds me of when open world RPGs first started coming out. I remember sitting in my living room and I was playing Oblivion. And my wife walked in and she sees me like looking out at this huge, she's like, what is that? And I said, that is this open world and I can go anywhere. She's like, wow. She's not a gamer. And every open world RPG at the time had a moment where they'd start you in a small enclosed area and then you'd go out into the world and you'd see the whole world.
Yeah.
And Fallout 3 had that where you emerge from the vault, you go out and you see this ravaged DC landscape. And yeah,
and
I remember that feeling.
Yeah, in Fallout 4, you get out, you see a landscape, but it is not like the most impressive. It's not like how well like Elden Ring presents itself in that landscape, or Fallout 3, or dagummit Skyrim. Because with that, you see out in the distance, and that was one of the things when that came out. It was like, you see that mountain, you see it in the distance, you can go to that peak if you wanted to. And that's why I like these games so much, because you can go pretty much everywhere and explore. And there's no, you can go to that hard area and get killed by super mutants right off the bat if you really want to, or ignore it.
And there's a real sense of wonder. Yeah, I remember wandering into a part of DC I shouldn't have been in, and there's a super mutant which I had not seen yet, and it's terrifying.
Oh gosh, yeah, no, it's very terrifying. So you mentioned earlier you played an NFT game. I want to know, what is it?
I'm gonna get there.
Okay.
I'm gonna save that for last on my gaming update. So I was looking for something to play this week, and I was just kind of like, what do I want to play? So I started going through my Game Pass library, and I'm gonna tell you the games that I tried.
Okay.
I only played them for a little bit. So Ninja Gaiden. Do you remember Ninja Gaiden?
Which
Ninja
one?
Gaiden, well, this was Ninja Gaiden Sigma. It was when they first kind of reinvented Ninja Gaiden for 3D.
Yeah,
this was an Xbox game. Do you ever play that game?
I remember it being tough as nails, so I just watched other people play it.
I got really into it. I think I beat that game. So I played it for about half an hour just to kind of remember. It still holds up. It's a pretty neat game. It's a cool, it's a fast action kind of fighting game. It's neat. It was fun. I checked out Little Witch in the Woods.
Oh, how's that one?
Which I kept hearing good things about it because it's supposed to be kind of like a Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
I gave up on it because it was way too much dialogue. Like she was riding into town on a train, and there's just endless dialogue about shoes because you have to take your shoes off when you get to this village. She wants to know what kind of shoes everybody's wearing, and it just went on and on and on. This weird dialogue where she's like, she asked the bartender for a drink. He says, sure. She says, do you have anything without alcohol? He says, sure. I have tea, but the tea has alcohol in it. She's like, okay. I mean, it's just, what's happening? So I quit playing that. I play Kentucky Route Zero. Didn't you tell me to play this game?
No, I told you to play Disco Elysium.
Okay, I should have tried that. Well, Kentucky Route Zero, I've heard all kinds of good things about, and it's too much story. I quit playing that.
It's too much story, not enough good story to keep you enthralled.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a dialogue tree kind of game.
Yeah,
and just I wasn't looking for that. I played a game called Far Changing Tides, which is a real interesting side-scrolling puzzle game.
Yeah.
Well, it's a story-driven puzzle game where you control this like submarine and you can swim. It has a really neat kind of art style to it. But I really wasn't looking for a puzzle game. I tried a game called Breath Edge.
Yeah.
Have you seen this game? It's like if you see it, you will see what looks like an astronaut holding a chicken.
Yes. I've seen a
review
on that.
It's like a comedy game. Yeah. It's a comedy game where you're in space and you've got this immortal chicken. And the production values look great. The writing looks great. It reminds me of the old Space Quest games in terms of its humor. I'm not going to finish it because it's just too linear for me. I'd like something a little bit more, with a little bit more freedom to kind of tell my own story or build something. So gotcha. That's my grab bag, my Game Pass grab bag. So I went back to a game called Planet Crafter.
Yes.
Which is it's a survival crafting game where you're on a planet and you're supposed to terraform it. So you're supposed to like get the atmosphere processors running and get water. And when you get it's a little bit like a cookie clicker in that you set up a drill, which creates pressure. You set up a water thing, which creates water. And there's these different metrics. And as they climb, you want to upgrade them so you climb faster to this number. Yeah. But when you reach this number, instead of the sky being red, the sky turns blue.
Oh, that's cool.
And then you get clouds, and then you get rain, and then you get grass, and then you get insects. And this takes hours and hours and hours to get there. But it's got kind of this loop to it. I spent about 5 hours on it. Pretty neat. Pretty neat game. It's got some quality of life stuff I'd like to see them add. Like the inventory slots are too small, so you end up walking back and forth across the planet a lot. There's no vehicle. So anyway, I spent some time with that. So then I was reading about this Game Pass NFT thing, and you and I love to debate this topic with you because it kind of feels useless to me.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to see what this is about. I don't understand. You keep talking about how great it would be if you can exchange things in games. So I go on a GameStop's website and I find this game called Gods Unchained. It is a card battler.
Yes. I've heard about that one.
It's basically Hearthstone. I mean, we've talked about how these other games have tried to copy Hearthstone but haven't captured kind of that tactile feel of it. This game has.
Yeah.
They've got it. I mean, they got the screen shake down. The cards, you pick up the cards and move them to do things with them just like in Hearthstone. It feels great to play. And as you play, you can earn cards and you can exchange those cards with other people or sell them for actual value. Pretty neat. I'm not going to keep playing it just because I want a single player experience on a card battle. I don't want to play with other people.
Understood.
And I don't really have any interest in pouring a lot of money into something where everybody else is there just for the money part of it. What's interesting to me about this ecosystem is I listen to about 6 or 7 different video game podcasts. No one is talking about this gaming ecosystem.
Yeah, because here's the thing, and it's this goes into, I guess, analysis on how the gaming industry feels about it, because it comes back to game developers, I think. And also the backlash of players. It's still, they haven't been able to sell it to the main gaming audience yet. The console players, the PC players, mobile players, yes. For instance, like this game, you get your card pack, and then those are your cards. And it's, that makes sense. And I think it's slowly actually coming around to being accepted. And that's just the whole thing. When something new comes around, you want to boo, 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 and say no, 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 bad, bad, bad. And then when you see the rest of the world accepting it and adopting it, that's when you're like, okay, we need to start changing our tune. And I'm noticing in news articles and places that I go to, like Gamer Ranks is a YouTube channel I listen to, and they publish news and stuff like that, that they're changing their tune on reporting on NFTs. And Kotaku is slowly but surely doing the same. Instead of just saying boo to NFTs, are like, okay, it's kind of legit because there's money in it. And as soon as people see there's money and it's not crashing, then you're going to invest. Now, I haven't looked up to see what blockchain technology this game is part of. But let me take a quick gander. Gods Unchained Block.
Ethereum. It's Ethereum.
So you get, that's not a bad thing. So you could almost, if it's popular, you get that stuff, then it's an Ethereum blockchain. That's a good blockchain. Actually, it's about to get an update this September. How it does transactions. So cards might get a little cheaper, but it's going to be there. And, this is not a bad thing. You could hold on to this and say, just like with any baseball cards or a Yu-Gi-Oh card or a Pokemon card, this could essentially be that kind of first wave of, if you were there for Gods Unchained in the beginning, you have this card, you'll be like this wealthy. Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost perfectly analogous to other trading cards. I mean, even baseball cards. I mean, those are manufactured scarcity too. And so you own a card that they made at a certain time that it's rare, but they can also make more of them. Now they won't be the one that you had that was first out. And that only has value because you assigned it that.
Exactly. So, it's interesting. We're at the birthing stages. I think more adoption, stuff's, I'm looking here on their store. It's like 2 cents for some of these basic cards, but let me see what the most expensive is. Price high to low on their, oh God.
How much?
I think, hold on. Let's see, how's it? Million, billion, trillion? There's a trillion, $1.5 trillion card. There's a couple of these.
Oh, what? $1 trillion?
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 commas. That's $1 trillion, correct?
I
you go into thousands, million, billion. Yeah, that's $1 trillion. So it's 1.5 trillion because it's like 900, above 900 billion ether, and at the price of ether. So that means this thing will go up in price as ether keeps going up. And so that's where it's tied to the cash value. But so there's some rarity. Those are probably owned by the original designers or backers of this game, this card company. But you could, if you wanted to, buy it from these people.
Yeah. So if you found yourself on hard times, you could sell your card collection for actual money. Well, for ether, I guess, which you could exchange for money.
Yeah, you exchange it out, or you're investing. So say, you're investing like, I don't want to have gold because it's just going to sit there. You can actually invest in these suckers, play with them, and then sell them back in like a later period, I guess, if you thought of it that way. There's what I'm looking. There's a grumpy chest, so it looks like a mimic, and it's going for $18 billion.
Send me the link. Put the link on Discord.
Yeah. No, it's really cool.
The artwork, I will say, the artwork is great. The cards look great.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's worth it. And so that's like, if you're a big fan of like Hearthstone or any other card battler, and you like the art that goes with them, and you're like, man, I want an NFT of that. Well, here you go.
Yeah, the artwork's great.
Awesome.
$884 million. Oh no! Oh my God! 1.5 trillion USD.
Yep. Yeah, I told you.
For a 3/3 watchful hound, roar, give order +10. to target enemy creature. Afterlife, remove order from that creature.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, I bet these are being held by initial investors, if not the creators. Because
every time I think of an objection in my mind, I think, well, but that's how Wizards of the Coast works. Like I think,
yep,
okay, sure, but they're just going to put the powerful cards, make them rare, so I will pay more for them. Yeah, that's how card games
work. No, yeah.
That's exactly what they do.
Yeah, and then so you have this really powerful card.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yes, come to the NFT side.
Honestly, if they had this game on iPad, I would think about it because, but it also had to be some kind of single player thing. I just don't want to play with other people.
No, I hear you. I'm the same way. I don't think I'll invest in that game unless I can play it by myself. Anything new? Have you seen anything new?
I went to see Nope on Friday.
How was it?
Maybe you haven't seen it yet, have you?
I am excited to see it. I haven't had a chance because I can't take my kids to see that.
So you can't. They're too young.
I mean, I could and traumatize the hell out of them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that just yet.
Yeah, I will tell you. So I can almost not talk about the movie because almost anything I say would spoil it. But I will tell you this. You are going to love it.
Good.
You think you know what it's about, and you're not wrong. But there's a couple twists in there that you will not see coming. It's a kind of movie that you leave really thinking about.
Good.
It's my favorite Jordan Peele movie to date.
Oh.
I can't wait for you to see it so we can talk about it. Maybe we can have a spoiler discussion on it when you see it. But run, don't walk to the theater as soon as you can.
Well,
and you should see it in the theater if you can.
Well, it's probably going to end up me being it on early release to Amazon Digital. So probably next month or maybe later this month.
Okay.
They wait about 45 days, I think, is the magic number now. So I'm excited to see that. I've been waiting for it.
It's awesome. It is awesome. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about it. It's
good.
Great.
Good. I'm excited about that.
You're going to love that. I really wanted to get in. I cannot wait to see the movie Prey. It's that prequel to Predator. I thought I'd get to see it last night, and we ended up watching something else, but I'm going to try to watch it today. I'm so excited about it because it has an awesome bear attack in it that you can see in the trailer, but also it really goes back to the roots of Predator, the original Predator, why it was good. The Predator hunting one person. In this case, it's a young Native American girl. I mean, she's going to prevail in the end. I think it even shows her covering herself with mud, just the way Arnold Schwarzenegger did.
In the trailer.
Looks great.
Great. I'm excited because it's needed a good, I guess, a soft boot is the best way to call this. Is a soft boot. Because it's such a great franchise from comics and books and the movies that have been, produced, except that last POS that I refuse to finish it because it's like, I started watching it once, like 10 or 15.
Which movie we're talking about?
Predator, whatever the recent Predator movie was, not Prey anymore, but because Prey is the most recent.
Well, there's Predators with Adrian Brody where they go to the Predator
That was
planet.
Good. That was the last best one in my opinion.
I thought that was pretty good.
I enjoyed that thoroughly. But it was whatever came out, and there was like a Predator hunter suit. I never made it to that part of the movie because it's like the first 10 or 15 minutes of this movie, I just could not take it seriously. I tried to watch it, and then I stopped watching it, and then like maybe a year and a half goes by. I'm like, did I ever watch this? I feel like I didn't watch it, and then I start watching. I'm like, oh god, I did start watching this. Oh, I know why I stopped watching this. It's just bad.
If you Google Predator 2018, the first question is, was the Predator 2018 a flop?
Yes, it was. It probably got, ticket sales. Was that PG-13 or was that R?
I don't see it. Because Olivia Munn in it.
Because the only PG-13 Predator movie I'm okay seeing is Alien vs. Predator, because the only way you can get enough people in the theater was to make it PG-13, which I don't agree with. But, our favorite video game director, who did Resident Evil, he was able to get it done. So, cheers to him to figure it out with that restriction. But I don't know. I'm still waiting for a new Alien vs. Predator, or even like they had a comic run of it where it was like Batman versus Predator or Superman versus Alien, or even better yet, and I think I sent a picture of it to you, where it's Star Trek meets Alien. Think about the U.S. Enterprise encounters xenomorphs.
No.
I think that would be perfect.
No.
Yeah, Spock having a chest burster come out.
You kids, get off my lawn. We don't need that.
What? Hey, you're done yelling at the clouds on NFTs, so I think you can get on the board with this. What was the last good Alien movie? This can't go wrong now.
Yeah, maybe in our lifetime they will remake Alien and Aliens.
Okay,
with all new cast.
All right, here everyone can. I have to get this off my chest.
And practical effects.
Yes,
practical effects.
There is a theory that I want to push, and I just want to see how much nerd rage will come through it. But I feel like my point is very justified. So you can get your soapbox out or get your pitchforks and
I'm ready.
Your fires.
Throw it out there.
You have the proper cast to do it. So here's my letter. You have the proper cast to do it. There's been enough time since it was originally made. This is the perfect time to do it, and could not go wrong. And you only do this one. You remake Star Wars New Hope. The original Star Wars movie. You remake it.
Boy.
You take our current Obi-Wan that we have, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, and then you have who is it that plays Winter Soldier? That
Sebastian Stan.
He's our Luke Skywalker. And then you get Chris Pratt as Han Solo, or even...
Does he go to Tashi Station to get the power converter?
Yes, he goes to... Yes, yeah. Anyway, so that... you get Hayden Christensen as Vader. You get all the people that you can right now to play these people, and you recast other people. You remake it.
Okay, two comments there. First, it is too soon. Because they're wearing Star Wars out right now. It's too... We're just drowning in it. And second, more salient point, they already remade it, Eric.
No, they re-edited it.
Called The Force Awakens.
Well,
it was a total copy of the first three movies.
Well, that's technically...
it's true.
It's a remake boot. Yes, it mimics the storyline. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which was the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
But they should just go ahead and remake it.
Boy, you talk about some fan outrage.
I know. It's definitely one of those like, that's the stupidest thing. No, you try to watch it, even with the re-edit and everything else. It's like, okay, we're at the point where I feel like it's been mauled enough. It's been just ripped apart and recut that it actually would be a good thing to do that. Because
maybe then they could remake the prequels and we can pretend like they didn't happen.
Well, because here's what. It's going to be, another 20 years? And that game's going to be 50 years old?
Yeah.
Or wait, no, it is like 50 years old soon. It's not 20 years.
Maybe in our lifetime.
It's getting to the point where it's an old classic, but at the same time, okay, that's when you get remakes and reboots. Just like I'm waiting for the Harry Potter movies and books to actually have a TV series adaptation where you make one season out of one book. Because that's going to happen. Anyway, that's a whole other rant and rave for another time, and not necessarily much gaming news, but here, that's why what's going on is that we are in a gaming desert. And that's why we're talking about more movie stuff, I think. TV shows, because there's nothing. We're thirsty. Which, before we even get
thirsty for games.
When we talk about what games we're thirsty for, I want to talk about Sandman.
Yeah. I want to hear about this. I'm hearing good things about it.
It is good. It is well produced. Lots of good money. Great visual effects. Great story. I'm a fan of the comic. Love the audiobook drama that was produced on Audible, which if you haven't gotten a chance for... So there's three great ways to enjoy the Sandman story from Neil Gaiman, which I love Neil Gaiman. He's one of my favorite modern science fiction fantasy authors. More fantasy. But it is a great show on Netflix, The Sandman. And it is a character actually based in the DC universe, because that's where the comics originally were. So you had like Arkham... is a place that gets visited at one point. John Constantine, I believe, was born from this series. They did change it to make it not based in the DC universe, which is fine. So John becomes a Joanna Constantine. I haven't finished the show, but I just watched the one with
Constantine.
I just watched the one with Joanna Constantine. She was awesome. But I love Joanna Constantine too. But yeah, so that was Joanna Constantine, and they're getting great ways of not making it connected to the DC comics, but it's a great story by itself, which it is. And you don't have to be a comic book fan, but it's great fantasy, dark fantasy TV show. And it's like, if you haven't touched Sandman audiobook or the comics, then you need to watch it. It is good. Very refreshing.
I am going to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I got to watch Prey first.
Yes. Eat, pray, love. Sandman. All right. So yeah, we're in a gaming desert, like we were saying before. That's why we're talking about so many movies and talking about so many things that are not gaming related. So if we just imagine that, Bob, we're on a desert island and we're longing for the day
we're going to get rescued.
Yeah, rescued by video games. And we're just sitting there, just imagining what we're going to do when we're rescued, just like people are on a desert island. What are you going to eat first? What are you going to do first out of this terrible situation? Because we're just longing and waiting. What games are you most looking forward to? Now, here's the thing. Did we give ourselves a stipulation? We didn't give a stipulation on like next 6 months or anything. We just kind of a general idea of what's coming up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just kind of the stuff that's on your mind that's like, yeah, what am I going to play right now until this comes out?
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Yeah, my horizon's kind of 3 to 6 months in my mind.
Yeah, that's where mine is. I actually have some releases that were supposed to be in the next 6 months, but they don't have a release date, and we'll get to that as we get to it. But yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, so Cult of the Lamb comes out next week, which I'm really excited about. Mm-hmm. And I really want to get that on a mobile platform, so I may get it on Switch, because that's a perfect game to play.
Is it coming out on Switch?
It is coming out on Switch. I don't know if it's coming out on Switch next month. It is coming out on Steam next month. But that game scratches a lot of itches for me.
Yeah.
And then there's a game called Farthest Frontier, I think, which is a hardcore city survival medieval kind of game on PC that comes out next week that I'm looking forward to. Those are the games I thought I'd get to play this week, but I can't. That's why I was playing all these other games. Grounded 1.0 comes out, I think, at the end of August. And that's a game that 2 years ago, when it first came out and early release, I took a whole week off of work, and my daughter and I played it for the whole week. We just sat and played it. We had the best time. I have since played it again through to the end 3 times. And I don't want to play it again until 1.0 comes out, because there's a whole lot of new stuff.
Yeah, justifiable. Yeah.
But they keep tweaking it and changing things, but I'm hoping she'll play that with me. She and I are playing Raft right now. Raft just came out in 1.0. Yeah. I think we may have talked about that before.
We did. Yeah.
I played that today.
I've been wanting to see about trying that myself.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And then there is the event of the year, which is God of War Ragnarok, which I know is on your list.
Yeah,
that's one that I can't wait for.
I would say that's maybe other than Elden Ring, I would say that's the biggest game coming out this year. Would you agree? That's the most anticipated game that was announced. Because we didn't. Oh, go ahead.
Well, we didn't know what to expect with Elden Ring. We knew it was going to be different.
Right.
And it turned out to be such a surprise, but we know what we're getting with God of War Ragnarok, so I feel like it's more anticipated. And because the last one was so good, we're more excited about it than ever. Yeah,
well, that and like more of the story, more of the gameplay, because it's just, I just finished up my playthrough again of the story of God of War, and it's just so fun to use that axe and just punch things, kick things. I mean, it's just, it's a perfect game. I would say I'm looking forward to that too. And it was getting worrisome for a while, because it's like, is it coming out? Is there a release date? Is it going to be delayed? We're in that time, we're in that era where you're like, oh God, everything's being pushed back by a month, 2 months, 3 months, a whole year. And then it's just really sad. But no, I've got my pre-order done, and I'm excited with you. I'm ready.
There's a game called Forever Skies that is supposed to be like an airship version of Subnautica.
Huh.
And I love Subnautica so much, and I've seen enough video of this game to be excited about it. and you can build and craft and oh man, I'm looking
at it right
2022, now. But you can't download it in early access, and they don't have a release date on it. So yeah, I'm excited about that one.
Does it look cartoony or what?
No, I don't. The aesthetic actually reminds me of Bioshock.
Really?
It's not super realistic.
Oh, I see. Yeah. First person action survival. Oh yeah, definitely Bioshock Infinite. I'm looking at the screen grabs. Oh, I could get into that. I love me some airships. Steampunk airships. Oh yeah, I'll take a gander at this too.
Very little. It's weird because it just says 2022. Well, we only have 5 months left, and they don't have a release date published. So
get on it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Weirdly enough, Company of Heroes 3, I dearly love the Company of Heroes franchise. They have not had a game out in a long time, and I'm not really into RTSs right now.
Yeah.
But they've got this really cool destruction mechanic where the buildings are fully destructible. This is a World War II squad-based real-time strategy game, and just very, very high quality production values on the previous games. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it. I feel like the era of RTS is just kind of over. So
which makes me sad.
Kind of, but it's just not the kind of game I'm wanting to play. But we'll see. I mean, they do such a good job thinking outside the box. This developer does. And then Halo Infinite has their co-op mode coming out, and I've got some friends that play Halo Infinite, and I don't want to sit and play competitive Halo every night, week after week after week. But the co-op, I mean, Halo is a giant sandbox world, and the Halo Infinite open world campaign was fantastic. I played it through twice. So co-op, I think, could be a lot of fun, and it's imminent, just maybe weeks away at this point.
I felt like that was supposed to come out end of last month in July.
Oh, it's been delayed. Yeah, they were supposed to come out in April.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
It.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to add, or we got your
I think
list?
I covered it. What's on your list?
Well, I've kind of jumped in there earlier. God of War Ragnarok. I think that's the biggest game I'm looking forward to. But then next to it is Callisto Protocol, because I didn't know when that was going to come out, but then they put a hard date of December 2nd. And Callisto Protocol is the third-person survival horror game from most of the original team that did the first Dead Space. And I'm excited because not only does it look visually like an actual next-gen game, but it looks and feels like a Dead Space type game. So horror, survival, science fiction. Think of Event Horizon, the video game, and I'm there. Because that's when I was a kid, and I probably was too younger than I should have been, but I'm still, fine. I watched that movie, and it was pretty creepy, and I love that stuff. So when the first Dead Space came out, I was like, oh yeah, and then this get announced, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like the Kool-Aid man. I'm gonna bust through the wall. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And then actually another game that has been announced since like 2017, because I've been following it since they've been teasing it. Scorn. Have you seen anything about it?
I have. It's like a gross first-person shooter where all the guns are like gooey parts of your body and stuff. It looks
it's
neat.
very organic. It's very it's like H.R. Geiger inspired, entirely inspired world, first-person puzzle shooter horror type game. It might be, I don't know. The creep factor is up to 11 on that, or actually maybe 20, I'd say. I'm going to try to play it, but there's certain things that just are too creepy that I might not finish it. Which would be a first, because I'm usually good about finishing my horror games. Even if it's like, this gives me the creepy vibes, because it's different when you're watching versus playing. And this might be one of those things like, I can't play it. I need to watch someone do it. But I'm excited.
It's going to be interesting because usually for a shooter has a whole shooter mechanic, and it needs to be really good. Like, I mean, Destiny's shooter mechanic is second to none. I mean, Bungie and 343 both get that really, really right. And this, your guns are different. They're like, they shoot goo and stuff. So I don't know. The question is, will it be a fun shooter? Or are you just there for the creep factor? Yeah, from what the footage they showed like about a year ago, it seemed quite good with like there's a shotgun and then like a pistol, and it seemed or like organic equivalents of those things, and it seemed fine. So we'll see. I have it quote unquote preloaded on my Xbox. It's one of the reasons why I had to get an Xbox next gen console, because I gotta try Scorn when it comes out, and that's definitely there. So it's already loaded. It's supposed to come out in October, so I'm excited to try that for spooky times and Halloween. One game I didn't expect to actually look forward to, but now I'm curious, is Marvel Midnight Suns. And so it's a real-time... It's an XCOM game.
Yeah, XCOM type of strategy game, turn-based. And I love those kind of games.
Squad-based, turn-based, squad-based, turn-based, tactical, top-down combat.
But this is with Marvel characters, but also it's card-based. So you have your cards that you have to play per turn. And I was excited when it got announced, and then I got turned off because apparently there's some loot boxes or stuff that you're going to have to buy to play it at some points. But then, of course, the company's like, no, that's overblown. Don't worry about it. But I've seen some gameplay, and I'm like, okay, I will try this out. I'm excited to try it because I like a good strategy game. Especially if you have my Marvel characters in it, then I'll be like, all right, cool, this will be fun. And that will be quite interesting, I think.
You are the hunter, a legendary demon slayer with a mysterious past. She looks awesome. I just sent you a picture in Discord. Your mission is to lead an unlikely group of seasoned superheroes and dangerous supernatural warriors. Yeah.
I was about to say, who the hell are you talking about? Like, Devil May Cry? What? No. So you're, I guess, that person, and then the other characters with it. And then the other game I'm looking forward to is it's going to be Dark Anthology time, which every year the Dark Anthology games have come out by Supermassive, the people that did recently The Quarry. They're coming out with the installment to the Dark Anthology series called The Devil in Me, and it looks kind of like Saw, which I'm excited about. So it'll be another choose your own death horror movie thing. And I'm excited about that. There's no hard release date on it yet, but it's going to be like probably October. I'm hoping to, record it, stream it on my channel around Halloween. And if it's too late after Halloween, then it's fine, because, it's spooky time all the time for me. And I actually have a list of games that were supposed to come out this time this year, or at least or coming out in the next 6 months. Atomic Heart is another game that I've been looking forward to. Like, it was announced around the same time as Scorn, and it looks like a Russian Bioshock, which is really cool looking, and it was like slated for October this year, months ago. But ever since the war in Ukraine, it's been kind of like ghost. No updates, no nothing. I don't even know if it's going to come out then. So I'm a little sad if it has to get pushed back or delayed, or maybe not come out at all, because it looks so good.
Yeah, it does look awesome.
And then Hellblade, which is Senua's Sacrifice. So Hellblade 2 was supposed to come out sometime this year. Did
you like the first one?
I did. I really liked it.
It seems like, I never played it. It seemed like it was too story-driven to me, but I watched the trailer for Hellblade 2 with that, like, giant that they all take down.
Yeah.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It looked amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It looked incredible.
Yeah. No, the game looks incredible. It's an Unreal 5 game, so it's going to look amazing. And the first one had puzzle stuff to it and had some combat, very basic combat, but it was actually satisfying swordplay. But yeah, definitely story-driven, interesting experience. Lots of creepy moments. But yeah, I'm excited about that. Jedi Survivor, which is Fallen Order Part 2. Yep. I think it's coming out in the next 6 months. It felt like it was maybe like a February release. I don't know. They don't have a hard date on that either, so I wouldn't be surprised if it gets pushed back to maybe May of next year or something. But looking for that. Hogwarts Legacy keeps slowly getting pushed down the line. Hogwarts Legacy is like a open world RPG where it looks
good. I hope it's good.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big Harry Potter fan, so I'm hoping to pick my house, which was Gryffindor, and then start my own story and legacy. And I would hope that your choices change the story along with, kind of Mass Effect like. Because say if you're Slytherin, aren't you going to have some snarky things to do and not necessarily make all the best choices?
Right. I hope they get... There's such an opportunity here to have a different type of combat mechanic that we've never had before, right? Mm-hmm. Like a wizard with a wand could be a shooter.
Could be.
Don't make it a shooter. Give us actual spells to use that aren't just what we've seen before.
Yeah.
I hope they pull that off here.
Yeah, the combat they showed before seemed interesting. I want to see more. And it could be even like, here's a special move and you can counteract with this or that. It will be very interesting. It's not just all projectiles, but like some other forms. Mm-hmm. And then the Resident Evil 4 remake, I'm keeping it within the next 6 months because I feel like it'll pop up like January, February next year. There's a lot of nay to say about it because it's kind of a great game already. Resident Evil 4, shifted the whole genre of games. It actually is probably why Dead Space did as well as it did, because it came out before Dead Space, or at least Dead Space got inspired by the idea of it. But I'm curious to see a remake. I've played it enough times. It's like, all right, I would update it. Graphics would be nice. Maybe shorten it up a little because it's pretty long. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so I hope we can survive this gaming drought to get the things that we want to play, and that maybe there'll be some surprises that come out in the next couple months. I don't know. It all depends on certain things. I don't even know.
I play a lot of early release games, and they're fun because they're constantly releasing stuff. So like, I've been playing Captain of Industry, and they just did a release that added all these new things to the game, and it's almost like getting a new game. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Well, you got anything else you want to add to any lists or anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay.
I think we covered it.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for listening to Pause Button, everybody. Like, subscribe, follow on YouTube and the Apple Podcasts.
And send us your thoughts, ideas, and reactions to emails at pausebuttongaming.com. Have a great week, and don't forget, when life gets hectic, sometimes you need to hit the pause button.